Up, Lloyd.
Oh, you're not going? I thought you were gonna go to the office.
Nah, my wife's out.
Uh,
Got the boys here, so
got it.
so couldn't head out. She took the weekend, so
Well, I'm in India, man. It's like 112, 13 degrees right now.
oh yeah. You got the AC on blasting, right?
Dude, yeah. I mean, people are outside. They're by the pool, but I'm hanging inside.
Yeah,
I'll go swimming later.
it's too hot.
Too hot,
You can
man.
feel the heat burning your skin.
Dude, it is so bad.
It's kind of humid here in Lakewood.
Oh, yeah. At least it's cooler. You got to breathe.
Nah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
they
Carlos.
cannot hear us, but because they don't have the passcode for that computer they're using right now, so they're trying to figure it out to stream it on the big screen so they can hear us. They just said give them a few minutes to figure it out. How you guys doing? How's your Saturday?
Pretty good. Just chilling.
It's good, man. I'm out here in Carlos, you remember living out here, man. I'm in India right now.
Oh, are you? Oh,
Yeah, dude, it's hot.
ah,
Yeah, it's hotter.
that's
Uh,
that's
It's like
crazy.
114 degrees, 112 degrees outside.
Oh man, here in Jersey it was like super hot. It was like 100 right now.
Oh,
Now there's some thunderstorm, and now it's like pouring rain right now. It was just
is it humid?
don't get it. A little bit right now. There was some breeze
Yeah,
earlier, but man, it's starting to get humid and pouring rain right now.
yeah. Well, you guys have
It's
AC,
what
right? So
California
you're
call
okay.
earthquake weather. Huh?
Yeah. You have AC, so you're okay.
Yeah.
You have air conditioning.
Yeah. Uh, you know
Yeah,
what small
the
what a small uh, plant tall.
sorry, Carla, yeah, I can't hear you. There's a lot of background noise.
I'm gonna try and do your cool background. You guys have cool backgrounds.
Yeah. What'd you say, Carlos?
I said you guys got cool backgrounds.
You don't want to see what's behind me, man. I got like a dresser drawer and a mirror.
Oh, cool. When I was working
I just
on,
googled backgrounds, bro. Zoom backgrounds.
yeah,
I used to have this really good one, and I had it on my other computer, and I lost it, and now I can't find it, man. It was such a good background.
nice. Let me see if I can get the AS. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, cool.
That's a nice background. There you go.
Yeah, let me, since we're here, I might as well send it to you both. Hold on.
Yeah.
Is it made for Zoom or is it just a
I
JPEG?
just I have a PNG.
Okay, yeah, maybe it'll look the same once.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You can email it to us?
Yeah, I'll email it right now.
Okay. Lloyd, I just got a 3D printer. I've been messing
Yeah, what
around.
are you gonna
Yeah.
make, man? What are you gonna make me? You gotta make parts for your BMW that keeps breaking.
I don't have a BMW anymore.
Oh, you got rid of both of them?
I don't have BMWs anymore.
It's too well. Wait, do you still have the Mini Cooper?
I still have the Mini Cooper.
Okay, so that's a BMW.
Yeah, yeah.
The other one just broke your wallet, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it was never, it was always in the back getting fixed, right? So
Yeah,
could enjoy it.
yeah. I
Hey
mean, they
guys,
look pretty, man. BMWs are gorgeous cars. So you hit about 40,000 miles, and then
Prob-
everybody that owns one that can afford to even fix, they're just like, man, they're like, nope. Oh, there it goes. You just sent it, Carlos. Let me download
yeah,
it.
I did. Do you guys like the Let's Draw or do you guys like the Artisan Social Club one?
The Artisan, I think, looks good.
Yeah,
cool. Are you ready?
We
then?
good?
I don't know. You guys ready?
I think we're ready.
I don't know. Are we live?
Why are we here anyways? What? Who?
Media
What?
team,
Where?
are we live?
Oh, I
Okay,
guess
yeah, we are
yeah.
live. Okay.
All
okay,
right,
okay.
all right, awesome. Let's go. Welcome everybody to Artist Night Out. Artisan Social Club is back, people. We are so excited to be here, ready to just talk with some awesome toy designers tonight. My name is Jeff. I am one of the co-hosts of the Beta Report, and we have my sons, the other co-hosts.
My name is Jason Maximus.
And my name is Jonathan Kalel.
And we, of course, we're going to introduce everybody else from the Artisan Social Club, and they're going to let us know what is the Artisan Social Club. What can you do with the Artisan Social Club? What can they give you? I don't know. They're gonna. I mean, there's a lot, guys. There's a lot that they can offer you guys. It's just so much fun. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so glad that we have people like the founder of Artisan Social Club, Carlos Mendoza, who's gonna tell us exactly what is the Artisan Social Club, and of course, his co-founder, Joe Campos.
Hi everybody. Hi.
There you go.
Hi everybody. Hi.
So why don't we let Carlos let us know exactly what is the Artisan Social Club. So Carlos, it's all to you. Go for it.
Hey everyone, just want to thank everyone for being here. We're so super excited to just kind of have our very first
Yes, I
official Meet the Mentors
Check
day
and see
today.
if it's muted.
And I'm really excited to share with you guys what the Artisan Social Club is about. We
You're not
started
muted,
back in
Carlos, right?
2018. And we're just excited to kind of like restart this whole thing again after the pandemic. I'm excited to have all the mentors here and those that are be watching online.
1 second, guys.
We started
All
back
right,
in 18 like I
Joe, maybe you could
and,
just step in for a second.
we really just
Hold
wanna
on,
make sure
hold on, Carlos.
students.
We lost your audio for a second.
Oh, let me know when I can get back on.
Just some technical difficulties. Joe, maybe you can help us out.
Yeah, so Carlos actually, since I don't know, you guys can hear me, right? You guys got audio? Cool. Yeah, Carlos started the Artisan Social Club back in 2018. It's basically a really cool club. He started it, just him and a couple of. We're gonna put the.
No, we were trying to see.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Sorry, he started it just as a labor of love. And he's been a working artist for many years and a lot of experience, and he's done so much cool stuff, and he just wanted to he did this as a passion project, just working from a coffee shop with one of his buddies, and little by little he had just more and more people started showing up and sketching, and man, I wish you could tell it. He tells it much better than I can, but I know we can't hear him right now, but we'll work on that in a second. But so he did that. He grew up from just him and his buddy to all like 200 people at Noman School in Hollywood, Visual Effects School, and he had a really great turnout. A lot of the events, and then obviously COVID happened, and as a social club, we couldn't be social when everyone was social distancing, so we kind of had to end it. He kind of ceased doing it for a little while, and then he actually moved to New Jersey to work for Spirit Halloween. He got a great opportunity to go over there, so he kind of put it on hiatus for a few years, and then him and I started talking about it. He was telling me more about it. I was not involved back then, and then he was telling me about it. Also met his wife, Andy, who's co-founder, and she started it with him as well, and basically he kind of told me about the idea, and I was like, well, why don't we bring it back? Why don't we, like, that sounds really cool. And I own McHale Design, which is my studio. We have our logo here. That's where we're at. We're live at McHale Design here in Long Beach, California. And we're a creative agency. And I told him, well, we should bring it back. Well, let's make it a nonprofit. Make it, bring it back. We'll partner up on it. And ever since then, we've been working on it. He had a small event at his in New Jersey where he's at, and we're doing the West Coast event. So this is our first official event where we're kind of meeting the mentors. We got some online here. We got Dennis and Lloyd, and also Carlos is also on Zoom, and also Roman Cortez here. And we're gonna get to know everybody a little bit more, and what the goal of the Artisan Social Club is, and that's kind of where we are, and we're excited to talk more about it, and yeah.
We're so happy you guys are back to doing these events. We were there for those I think the last two over at the Nomon Studios. Such a cool place too to do it at, and we had. Me as just a movie geek and video game geek, it was pretty awesome to meet some of the guys that I got to meet during that event. Christian Gosset, Raf Grassetti, Della Longfish, Gary Varial. These are guys I still kind of talk to a little bit. And although I think Della doesn't like me to ask him about what's the next video game comes out, because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble. I can't tell you anything. So
Yeah.
but it's pretty cool that we got to meet these guys. And at the events, which was really awesome, was the amount of people that were there, other artists, and that's the whole idea of the Artisan Social Club, is to have this community, right, of artists who are able to help each other, to help or mentor each other. And that's the whole idea what Carlos was trying to put together, is have these mentors to help other up and coming creatives who are there to share ideas, share designs, and it's just an awesome club, an awesome community to be able to, for some people to get their start, right?
Yes, exactly. We're the goal of the Artisan Social Club is to inspire and mentor the next generation of creatives, really showing what the possibilities are in this industry. And there's so many caveats, and also educating and showing that maybe you like to do animation, but maybe you never tried toy design, like Roman here, he does toy design, or Carlos, he does toy concepts and from beginning to end, or maybe you're a graphic designer or toy packaging, which is what we do. We're like, this is some of our work here. So there's so many avenues that kids don't really know a lot about, and our goal is to show you the possibilities and give you options and educate you and the tools of the trade, and also the do's and don'ts, and lots to learn and a lot of great opportunities. And we have already a lot of great mentors that have already signed on to work with us. So we're excited about the upcoming events that we're doing, and yeah, we're excited to bring it back, and we just see this as something that can grow into something really special.
Absolutely, and it's great because we got to meet some of the mentors. We have one of the mentors right in front of us right here, Roman Cortez, that we are going to talk to in a bit. Why don't we just talk to Roman right now and just ask him a couple things. Let's talk here, man. Although when you go to the website on Artisan Social Club and you go on there and you kind of see your bio, you're wearing those red boots. I was hoping you were going to wear those. What are they, Jonathan? You know what are those called?
I believe they're called the Mischief boots.
The Mischief boots.
The Mischief big red boots.
Yeah, dude. I seen them all over social media, and I thought you were going to come with them here. I'm like, oh, I got to see them in person. What happened?
Yeah, no, I should have bought it. I should have brought them. That's the biggest waste of money, though.
I mean,
I was hoping to resell them, and you can't resell them. Yeah, they're like $100 on eBay. Yeah.
Oh my god!
But they're cool. They're real comfortable.
Are they
They're
really?
actually really comfortable.
They
You can walk around in them like no problem. Yeah.
They actually look like they're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they're nice and soft. Yeah.
Well, Roman is an LA-based creative director with over 20 years of experience. He's done video directing, editing, writing, producing, product design, photography, illustration. My goodness, what have you not done? I mean, seriously, we probably need your help
can't
with.
draw cars.
Oh,
That's my Achilles heel.
seriously,
I can't draw cars. Yeah.
well, Carlos, I think we got Carlos back on there. You can hear us, Carlos?
Yeah. Go ahead, Roman. Go ahead. Finish up.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't do computer animation. Very, very little.
So
I tried. That's how I started doing computer animation, and I tried to get back into it, but I didn't have that connection anymore.
Did it have anything to do with not being able to do flames?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do is flames. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Flames, good old flames. I worked at Hot Wheels for so long that, I mean, I could do a demo really fast. Flames for days. I could just, flames.
Yeah. So I mean, did you say one of them actually looked like seaweed or something like that? Remember
Yeah,
you saying that?
one of my first jobs, they wanted me to do flames for one of the graphics, and I was like, yeah, I can do flames, and then it got critiqued bad. It said they look like seaweed. I wish I could demo it, but yeah, it literally looked like seaweed. Like it was real curvy. There's no flame shape to it, and I thought it was like, hey, this is cool. This is flames. And then as the years went by.
See, I mean, come on. Everybody goes through this. Even Roman, like 20 years of experience, had to learn how to do flames.
I thought I knew, and yeah.
So I mean, there's learning and everything, right? So
Oh yes, definitely. You're always learning, always learning. Yeah.
Awesome. Dude. Well, look, since we got Carlos back, and we want to give some time for the founder to talk about the Artisan Social Club, to go into why you did it and what is your passion with the Artisan Social Club.
Just so everybody that's watching right now, is your camera on actually? Because I think we're just seeing Joe's face when you guys are talking.
Really?
Oh, really? Well, because how can you not see Joe's face, though? I mean, everybody wants to see Joe's face. If you put, that's why I do podcasting. You put me on video, people will tune off. So I mean, they got Joe on there, so it's like, you know, it's better than seeing my face.
There we go.
All right.
Is that better? Oh, there we go.
So
Now we're gonna get people to tune off, Carlos. Thanks a lot, bro. Come on. Everybody was enjoying Joe's face.
Everybody bear with us. This is our first event, so we're still working on a few bugs, but I promise we're going to get better, just like Roman with his flames. So we're all going to improve. But I'll let Carlos take it away. Tell us all about the ASC and why you dreamt this thing up.
Well, I mean, it's been a pretty humbling moment for the social club, because we did have to stop for a little bit, but it all started with really just really reaching out to just everyone in my social media, and I wanted to draw with people and build a community in my area. I was driving pretty far to Fontana. I was going to a lot of different places, but there was nothing close to my home, and so I started building that, and I reached out to my social media followers and stuff, and so one guy actually responded to it, like Joe was telling earlier, and like we started at Starbucks with like one person, and we ended up with like 150 200 people, and then we went to brainstorm school, and we started really growing and growing. It was really funny to kind of hear the lady at Starbucks tell me that I can't have these social clubs there anymore because nobody was buying coffee. We were just drawing at the at the Starbucks, so we couldn't do it there anymore. But it was really neat because I saw the growth there, and it was really cool because I felt like everybody was telling me that, it was definitely needed. It was something that people, didn't have around their area. So when we kept coming to everybody's town, we were moving around, and it was really interesting, man. It really grew into a community that had pretty much mentors to people around us that didn't have the opportunity to become industry professionals, or even, they didn't have a good portfolio to even think of it as a possibility. And so that's what really sparked my interest in this, is to really see, what, we really have something here that people really need. And I think that after mentoring a lot of kids in our internship programs for work, I started seeing a constant pattern, and it was from different company that I went to. The pattern was still the same. Kids were coming out of school with a lot of questions. There were a lot of confusion, a lot of unprepared kids going into these Shark Tanks with a lot of, heavy hitter designers from every industry, and they just didn't know how to swim with us. I mean, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to ask. And so it became a pattern. And so I think that that's the reason why the social club right now has the mentors that it has, because we really want to broaden out what the social club is, because there's a lot of kids that are interested in a lot of different things. They just don't know where to put their creative, minds to. So each of the mentors here, I'm really grateful for you guys that have participated in this and are starting to participate. We're getting a lot of great feedback from a lot of industry professionals that want to participate in this, which is great. We're starting to see a trend in mentors that want to be a part of something amazing, and I'm really grateful that this is something that we can literally, really push our mission to teach and provide that insight to these kids and even struggling artists. There's a lot of struggling artists out there that wonder why they can't make it in the industry. Why are they not getting callbacks? And a lot of it has to do with their presentation. A lot of them have to do with their portfolios, their confidence really high. Their artwork isn't really where it needs to be. So a lot of these mentors here, and all those that are watching right now that are not in this particular podcast or this particular event here. A lot of them, they've seen it. They've seen the struggles that a lot of people are going through. And so I'm really glad that you guys are there to share your insights to help a lot of them, reach their goals. And that's pretty much our goal here for the club is to thrive in this industry. And I think it's important for what we're doing. So our mission is definitely that to bring a lot of inspiration and positive insight to what our industry is really about. So I'm glad you guys are here, man. I'm really glad that we're doing this today. So thank you to all the mentors. I'm sure there's a bunch of them that are probably watching right now. And I think, like I said, we're gonna do another one again soon. And I really want to introduce everybody that's a part. I want to
Yes,
thank
yes, we have some great
the
announcements coming up.
Andy, Sabrina, Marion, all those that are behind the scenes, Stormy. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate again all the mentors. You know who you are. You guys are the angels in this endeavor. So I really appreciate you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna be continue doing these events. I promise you guys there'll be less technical difficulties on the other ones. All right, so we'll get them all figured out here. But we're so happy. First of all, from Carlos for letting us come on this train with you guys, right? Just riding along with this journey with the Artisan Social Club. It's just a bunch of awesome guys. And like you mentioned, man, the mentors, you guys have no idea, man. These are giants in the industry, man. I'm telling you. These are big guys who are just guys and girls who are out here just being examples, being people who are going to be very supportive of other artists, of other creative minds, and like Joe said, the next generation, bringing these other people along. With that said, we have other mentors that were on this call, on this live stream that I also wanted to point out real quick. We already met Roman, and the expert at flames now. So we know that. And we also have others that I wanted to really quickly introduce. Lloyd Bandonillo. I hope I'm saying your name right, Lloyd?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay, what is it? Bandonillo.
Bandonillo.
Right? There you go. Look, I see the double L, okay? I'm from LA, dude. So Latino, bro. So I see the double L's, it's a Y. You say Bandonillo, not Lilo, okay? So that's just the Hispanic in me right here, right? So sorry about that.
It's all good.
So Lloyd is a package designer, illustrator. He has a background in working on brands like Hot Wheels, Power Rangers, Warner Brothers, Disney, DreamWorks, Kellogg's, Nestle. I'm getting hungry, bro. Look, just talking about all the other stuff you're talking about here, dude. You bring a wealth of experience here, bro. It doesn't even stop there. Oh my God, guys. We're talking to a professor over here, okay? Adjunct lecturer at Artist College of Art and Design, where he inspires the next generation of toy designers. I'm telling you, when Carlos is putting these guys, mentors together, guys, he's not just getting any guy on the street. We're getting giants here. That's what I'm talking about. So, Lloyd, thanks so much for being a part of this and being one of the mentors out here, man.
Absolutely. Hey, man, it's my pleasure to be here. I feel honored to be part of this team. Carlos and Joe, I've worked with some of the mentors you have there today. And honestly, man, these guys are so humble. But they are artisans, they're professionals, they are craftsmanship industry. So I feel honored in this pool. Thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you, Carlos and Joe, to let me be part of the team.
Yeah, man, welcome, dude. We appreciate you being here, man, for real. Like,
Yeah,
he's not kidding. One thing you guys don't see a lot of is the messages that I get on my LinkedIn or my Instagrams. And every time that Andy posts online and just throws out a new mentor, they're like, oh my, I thought you guys were already and every single one of them just gets better and better. The pot is just gotten so well, like everybody knows that there's just heavy hitters coming and they just anticipate now who's next, and it's becoming a thing now every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, it's definitely awesome to see you guys up to help these generations. So the honors.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Dang, Carlos, we wanted Lloyd to talk. Fool, not you, bro. You already talked enough, dude. Lloyd, tell us a little more about yourself. Oh, by the way, my name is Javian. Hi, everyone. I'm just magically appeared here because that's how art works. It's a creative dream that just makes things appear out of nowhere. What's up, Holmes? Carlos, nice to see you. Lloyd, any last words that you wanted to say?
Last words.
Well, I'm not trying to kill you, my boy. I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just saying, like, because, bro, we have, like, so many amazing artists on here. Do we just want to move on to the next person? Oh, my shirt. We want to make sure that we have enough time for everyone. But, Lloyd, again, if you want some parting words before we move on to the next person, the floor is yours, my guy.
You got another talented guy coming up.
Look, all right. Before we move on, really quick, Jay. As we told you, right, we have the podcast with me and my sons. But before my sons were in there, it was my brother. And yes, Jay is my brother. We're all keeping it in the family here. So he was actually at the other events in Noman, but then decided to get an education and go for his master's, whatever. But now he's so he couldn't continue with the podcast. But I asked him to come out to, be supportive. And Jason is looking at the technical stuff to make sure it's all working. So that's why Jay is over here filling in for a bit. So
Fool, come outside trying to give him my bio. Okay, hi everyone. So yes, it is true. I went ahead and got my education, but really, honestly, and this is like to be like 1,000% truthful. Hold on, let me, so you guys don't see I'm crossing my fingers. I really pursued higher education because of the Artisan Social Club, and just seeing the inspiration that you guys had on young creative minds really pushed me to pursue education. So I am a high school teacher, got my master's in education, so it's been spending a lot of time doing that, but honestly, truthfully, a lot of it comes from what I saw, what you guys were doing at Noman, man. It was just really that inspiring, so I wanted to just make sure that we were doing everything that we could to make sure that everyone had the possibility of belief in their own creativity, because that's what we saw you guys doing at your events. It was just literally a group of a collective of creative people just coming together, sharing their gifts with one another, and it really inspired me. And that's one of the things that I always try to instill in my kids, just giving them that possibility that they should believe in their own creativity, right? That they have the possibility to do things like that. And you guys were already doing that, man. And again, yeah, like Jeff was saying, just having all these amazing artists come together and like sharing your wealth of knowledge, like it's legitimately dope. So,
all right, that's enough for you.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, dude. I got like hella inspired,
bro. Can we introduce the other mentor, please?
Yeah, for sure. And that was just my pitch to be a mentor too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out here, education, shaping young minds, just in case. All right, so next up. The what?
You got VIP.
Yeah, I know, for real. No joke. All right, so we want to introduce the next mentor all up in this piece. Again, like when Jeff was saying we got heavy hitters, we got heavy hitters. Or I should say, dang, I could have made a better pun there, but I'm messing up.
Okay, go for it.
We have Dennis Cannon. With the boom? Is that the way you say it?
That's how you would say it.
Let's go. So,
Dennis Cannon.
This dude is a creative art director with over 20 years of experience, older than this guy over here, dude, in the field of consumer products focused on branding, packaging, and advertising.
Bad already, bro.
I'm just saying, bro, that's a wealth of knowledge and like experience. That's a lot. He has a solid and strong understanding of all aspects of design, communication, and brand implementation.
Oh, but hit up. What else he did right there? Like, hit it right there.
This right here, though, he received 2 Disney Inventors Awards, y'all. We're not saying just one, but 2 Inventors Awards for 2 innovative package designs he developed during his tenure at Disney Consumer Products.
Take a breath.
Woo! Yeah, everybody.
Ladies,
round of applause,
ladies and gentlemen,
that's what
Dennis Cannon. Dennis Cannon. How you like that for an intro, bro? Go ahead. You can hire us.
You guys are humble.
Hey, don't even worry. I'm not even done yet. He's currently an art director for a toy company and professor at USC and Cal State University Long Beach. He also has his own professional practice where he helps small to medium-sized brands identify their strengths to ensure their product attracts, inspires, and engages with their core consumers. Lord have mercy. Talk to him, Dennis. Talk to them.
That's a nice intro. Thank you. That's
You know what? We ran out of time actually for you, so we can't talk about you anymore. But no, just kidding, Dennis. Go for it. Go ahead. Tell us more about yourself,
Yeah,
man.
tell us why you decided to take this on and become a mentor with the Artisan Social Club. What inspired you, or what just made you want to be a part of it in your already very busy life, and a father and a husband, kids, career, all that.
yeah. It's really, when you called me, Joey. I teach part time as well. So I wanted to kind of extend that, that mentor teaching students to, inspire them. We're all here to inspire all these students. So when you called me, I had to say yes, because I really, I'm into this thing. I really like, mentoring students, teaching students to, what I've been through in my career. So yeah, I couldn't say no. So I had, and then I knew you had Lloyd on there and Roman, more talented than me, but I had to join.
They don't have awards, bro. They don't have awards. They don't have Disney awards, right?
But small side note, Dennis, Lloyd, Roman, myself, we all worked on Hot Wheels at Mattel. That's where we all met, and we all just hit it off, and we always stayed in touch. And so we have that strong bond, that kind of. They're a long time, so and it's a small. The toy industry is a very small circle, so we all keep in touch. Even though you might move to another company, where you go to Moose Toys or Mattel or Hasbro, we all stay in touch because we love doing this, and we love even to teach it even more, which is great about Dennis. Actually, Dennis got his master's degree too as well. So
See, people get highly.
yeah,
my
so
MA, art and technology. Wanted to learn more about VR, AR, 3D stuff. So I went back to school. At my age, it was hard, but it was 18-month online program. You just have to kind of sit down and forget partying on the weekends and just work until you get that MA degree.
wow. Shout out to Canon.
Awesome, dude. Look. Now that we got to meet the mentors in this roundtable, why don't we get this roundtable started right now? And it's all basically about toy design, toys. I mean, did you feel anything walking in, seeing Ninja Turtles out?
Bro, I like shed a tear, like no joke. It was like a pizza flavored tear that I saw it just kind of like stream down my face, and I licked it really quick, and I was like, yo, it tastes like pepperoni. But just seeing all of these amazing Ninja Turtle toys, and knowing that Ninja Turtles is like making a big comeback in a couple of weeks or a couple of days, actually. The movie's coming out soon. It's dude, it's freaking amazing.
Right. So we thought, man, this is awesome to be a part of this this panel about toy design. And I mean, we like toys and stuff. I know you do.
Heck yeah, dude. I legit like buy things for my daughter only so that I could play with them afterwards. So yeah, definitely like a huge toy guy.
Right. Jonathan, you used to play with toys.
Honestly, not as much. I think playing with toys is kind of like there's like two peaks. The first peak is when you're a little kid, right? And then you get your teenage years, you get to other stuff, and then the second peak is when you get like later on in life.
Me, buying collector stuff. I know.
Yeah, like you.
I was like geeking out on Lloyd, and one of the things he designed was like a lightsaber with a Hot Wheels on it too. I was like, dude, when I see that, I want one of those too. What? So look, Jonathan brought up something really interesting, right? There's those two peaks when we're a kid and we're an adult. But I wanted to ask all of you guys, if you guys can all answer. We'll start with Roman because he's here. Did you guys have a favorite toy as a kid? Like, was there one particular toy that you guys remember that was your favorite as a kid?
I had two. One, of course, was Star Wars. Everybody loves Star Wars.
Sure.
Kenner, wait, you were Kenner? Was it?
It was Kenner, yeah. It was
Yeah,
Kenner,
right? Yeah.
So we got that every Christmas. We got Star Wars toys. Of course, we got some toys, but there was always one kid that had every single Star Wars toy. And so you're like, oh, I want the toys. But there was another toy that I just recently bought again on eBay. It was I don't even know what it's called. It's a Jeep with two little action figures inside. It came with a tent and like a kayak on top. And I ended up rebuying it. I forgot who made it. Play something. Anyway, but I looked it up recently and I found it on eBay, $20, and I rebought it because when I was a kid, we went to the beach. I buried the action figures because you're playing as a kid and you bury everybody. But then we had to go, and then I could never find those.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh, you gotta go now. And I was like, dude, I'm traumatized. And we had to leave, and I was just like, no, like my toys. So I always had this Jeep, and it had a tent with like no toys in it. So of course the Star Wars toys would drive the Jeep.
Yeah,
And they were in the tent, and I just saw it again, and that was like my toy. And I was gonna bring it.
dude.
But right now, so what I'm doing with that, because I loved it so much that I'm going to like reshoot a commercial for it just for myself.
That's awesome.
No way,
Like a little
dude.
just toy commercial, just for fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
hey,
that's my toys.
hey,
Yeah. I didn't want to bring up bad memories, but dude, I'm out of here.
Dude, low-key, that's why he didn't want to bring it, because he was like, yo, this is getting broadcasted. I don't want people to see me cry. That's awesome.
that's great. Hey, Lloyd, what do you have did you have a favorite toy?
Man, and I had a lot of favorite toys. I have a couple of key ones, though, man. Honestly, my one of my very first toys that I remember was actually a magic box. And I had this little silver Porsche that doors open. And then I just started collecting a lot of Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. And, playing with your friends, pretending you had a whole city in your backyard, or my buddy's pool table, or on the floor. That was kind of the start of it. And probably the second one was, I love the G.I. Joe stuff. If you guys remember G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I had this G.I. Joe tank, and then all these little characters. So my friends and I used to, my backyard wasn't all pretty and grass, so it was all dirt. So my friends and I would dig, big dirt trenches in the backyard and holes, and we'd pretend we'd go on war and be fighting each other and blowing things up. Finding the firecrackers of 4th of July and trying to blow up each other's characters. That was kind of like, that's how we grew up, man. It's really just hands-on playing. So cars and G.I. Joes are probably my favorite. And, oh, wait, one more. Everybody loved the Robotech stuff. So I had a couple Robotech robots that kind of came out.
Macross Saga.
Nice.
Trust me, man.
Robotech. Rick Hunter.
Rick Hunter.
Shout out to Rick Hunter.
Lin-Man May. Bro, I Lin May.
Yeah.
Bro, I remember, bro. I think I'm getting a tear in my eye, bro. I used to run home to watch Robotech. It was like a straight up novela, guys, for us. It was like a soap opera. I gotta go home and watch the adventures of Rick Hunter for real, bro. Like,
People actually died in that cartoon.
Bro.
When you were a kid, it was like, wow, the character died.
You're serious, bro, man. My mom was like, ¿Por qué estás llorando? Why are you crying, bro? Like, die, bro. So yeah, seriously, I remember that. And G.I. Joe was legit too. That was probably one of my, back when I was younger too, many moons ago. I used to love G.I. Joe too. But Joe, speaking right now, did you have one?
Yeah, I think I have. I mean, it's hard to pick, but I think one of my favorite toys was Jetfire. It was a Transformer Jetfire. He looked like a Robotech. It was literally a Robotech ripoff.
That's exactly what it was.
With the Transformers logo. So I thought that was really
I had
cool.
it too.
And I also loved. You probably got to look it up. It's called the Etch-a-Sketch Animator. It was an Etch-a-Sketch that actually gets an animate on, and that when I got that for Christmas, that was like blew my mind. And the third. If you guys don't know what Knight Rider is, I had a Knight Rider big wheel.
A big wheel?
Knight Rider big wheel.
I was
Dang.
flossing in my.
Yeah, this guy was flexing on the street.
I was.
Just driving from everybody's house with his Knight Rider.
I was talking to Kit, pretending to talk to Kit. So, yeah. So,
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
What about you, Dennis? Which one is your favorite?
And I have a few.
Yeah.
The dump truck.
That was it?
Always
That was it, dude.
It's the only
tetanus shot. He-Man.
He-Man.
Oh, He-Man's good.
Yeah, I love He-Man too.
There you go.
He-Man, yeah.
You hit him and it turns out
Battle
Oh
damage.
yeah, battle damage.
Yeah.
auto damage.
Yeah, I
Battle
remember
damage
that.
He-Man.
Star
Yeah.
Wars. Millennium Falcon.
Oh.
Snow Speeder. And then a pinball machine that I love.
What?
Yeah,
Dang.
awesome toys.
Carlos, what you got?
I was a huge Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling
Oh my
fan.
God.
I don't know if you guys remember that
Yeah, yeah.
back in the 80s. I used to follow a lot of WWF stuff, and I was a huge fan of wrestling. And just in recent times, like I actually went to a vintage store and I found
Wow.
Hey, brother!
original Hogan action figure guy. I don't know if I can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Leave him- keep him in front of you. We don't want to see him, not you.
And I had to pick them up. And yeah, it was super cool. I got to, like I said, I collected Ultimate Warrior and Iron Sheik and like all these cool
Yeah.
characters. And I think it was something
Andre the
that I
Giant.
really, like, you know, as a kid, you kind of see these as like heroes and stuff. And got really into Mazinger Z and all the Robotech stuff. So that was all the fun stuff. And
Voltron in the
coming from Nicaragua, like we come from a third world, and we get a lot of shows that are like from other countries. So, I really got into robots really early on, and then I got into like the A Team. I started buying stuff. So everything that I bought was mostly from TV shows that I was enjoying. So, but it was like live action stuff. So again, I got to again the Hulk Hogan stuff, and then the Mr. T dolls and all that stuff that was
and the T-Force.
just action figures of characters I would watch on TV, and like Spider-Man and all that stuff. So yeah, yeah, I love all that stuff, man. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Dude, I can still see like the remnants of all that stuff on Carlos because he kind of has like the Hulk Hogan stash still going on a little bit, and then like a little bit of like the Mr. T Mohawk too. I see you, my boy. Look, it's like you still got the aesthetic down, bro. Like that's what's up.
I don't know. I feel Iron Sheik instead.
Yeah, okay.
okay.
My fault.
I'll take that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it.
Actually, it looks like you look like Eddie Guerrero. You got Eddie Guerrero. That's who,
Yeah.
that's who you look like.
Eddie Guerrero. There you go.
Bro, you got the Tianguis look right now, dude.
There you
Just so
go.
you know.
As you guys are talking about your favorite toys, when you were younger or growing up, I want to ask, each and every one of you guys, what was kind of your first, either growing up or getting, later on in your career, your first like big moment where you had your first creation or your first artwork and that you were just like, wow, I just did that, or like, wow, I'm proud of this. Like, this is my first big creation. So I want to ask that to each one of you.
What's
I
up?
can, really? I mean, I guess, man, on the top of my head, I was probably like 5 or 6, and I remember I drew this. It was a car, but it was like an eagle car. I was inspired by Silverhawks. You guys remember Silverhawks? But it was a car that
We are
was like an
aging
eagle.
ourselves when you say
I
name of
know,
these. Some of
I
these
know.
people don't know what we're talking about.
All the Gen Zers just left.
But
dude.
my mom, well, I drew it, and then I didn't know. My mom entered it into, if you guys remember, the penny saver, like, which is
Yeah.
like, so she entered it
worse
into
than
this drawing contest, and I ended up winning like a $20 gift certificate or something, and I was like, whoa, $20 when you're, for drawing. I was like, this is awesome. So that was like the first money I ever made drawing. So that was
No way,
pretty
that's-
cool memory, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm
At
pretty
5,
good at this.
bro. I was not making money at 5, bro. So that's
Yeah. Yes. So I'll lay Roman. Yeah. What's yours? Roman Campus?
Yeah, a quick spin-off from the Penny Saver. I worked there for 2 years at the Penny Saver. That was one of my first design jobs.
wow.
Hey, dude.
And I
Nuts.
left when everything was cut and paste. Like, everything was cut and paste. So we were in charge of designing the ads, and then you would print it out, hand it over to the paste people. They would paste it all down on these big boards, and then they would shoot it with the camera and then send it out.
All before computers.
All before computers. And then I was there during the transition, and I was put in charge of, it looked like, remember War Games? They had that big machine called the Whopper.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like that, but that would take all of our stuff that we did. God, I want to say it was Quark Express maybe, or PageMaker. That was the program. And it took all our files. It would send it to that computer, and it paginated everything. So all those people got let go. I was right there, and I was in charge of the computer. So they were like, "So you're the guy that's taking our jobs?"
no
It's like, it's not mine. Like, I'm just like in charge of it. Yeah. But it took out a whole department of like 40 people. Yeah.
Yikes.
Anyways, what was it? It was
Your first time that you.
first time creating. My brother and I, we loved peanuts. We had peanuts Snoopy and Peanuts. Not Peanuts, like
I was thinking peanuts.
like
I was like,
Peanuts.
oh, it sounds like pretty abstract, cool art.
We like
stuff.
apples.
Yeah.
The Peanuts comics. So we grew up getting like the paperback books, and we had tons of paperback books. So I was probably like 6 or 7, and me and my brother would draw our own comics, our own comic strips. So he had one, he had all his little characters, and then mine, I had like 6 little animal characters, and we would draw comics all day long. And for some reason, I named it, my cartoon strip was called Medium Extra, and it was like M.E. And I think is because, I drew this. I think that's what it was. I don't know. But so I did that for years, and then I drew like big posters for my mom, and my mom still is a big rabbit, and she still has that hanging up in her garage. She got it framed. But that was like one of my first like.
Wait, how old were you when you did this?
I was probably like 6. Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah, and I was so into comics at that time, but like more like Peanuts and all that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so the cartoon strip was called Medium Extra, and so I ended up, when I had to like pick my business name, I chose Medium Extra. And then,
No way, that's cool.
Help 'em out.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on, dude.
And here's my little card. God, these things are so slippery.
You're not large, but you're not small.
I'm medium
Yeah,
extra.
exactly.
Which it really is true. I'm right in between. So it says like medium extra, and then it's a nice little gold card. And,
Dang.
but I thought it was a really good, like people are like, what does that mean?
Is that
It's
your
like,
actual
it's-
business card? Is that what?
yeah, I'll give you guys some after.
Yeah. Take some look at that.
But yeah, that was my first thing of like, I could be a cartoonist. So what I really wanted to be was a cartoonist
So it's
as a
Roman
kid.
at mediumextra.com. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out, dude. That's amazing, man. That's awesome.
great.
There's a.
Yeah, when I was 6, I was like eating peanuts, dude. Like, I mean, you got the inspiration from peanuts.
You were eating the comics?
Yeah. He had a condition. He had a problem. Sorry, we had to figure it out. But
He had a peanut allergy.
yeah, Lloyd, do you have something that you can share with us?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna piggyback on a funny similar story to Roman over here. It actually is a Peanuts character. So I was in 2nd grade, and you guys, I don't know if kids don't do that anymore, but people used to buy bookmarks. Remember bookmarks?
Yeah.
Right. And so our elementary school in 2nd grade had a bookmark contest, and each grade would have a winner. And I won my first bookmark contest in elementary school, and I said, "Oh man, I think I have a little bit of talent." Actually, I drew Snoopy. Snoopy was one of my favorite characters back in the day, and so I drew like Snoopy on top of his house reading a book, and I remember I wrote something like "Let's read" and some like bubble letters or something. And I think that was like my first award, and I was like, "Oh man, I think that's something that I kind of want to do." But I was pretty fortunate because I kind of I grew up with a family of like creatives and artists in different ways. So my parents were really they really pushed it. They didn't think negatively about me wanting to be an artist. So, yeah. So that was my first time. After that, I just like Roman and all these guys, man, who draw. I just sit there and draw all day, and became a little bit of an introvert and just draw. Like won't pee for like 3 hours because I'm in the middle of drawing something, and then having to run to the bathroom, just peeing your pants in the drawing. Wow. So yeah, that's how I grew up, man.
That's dedication.
Yeah. TMI.
I know. TMI, Lloyd.
What's up,
awesome.
Dennis? Do you have something to share with us with that?
Yeah, back in the day, we'd read a lot of magazines and newspapers, and I used to see these advertising. Learn how to draw, and it used to be like, can you draw this character? It used to be like a pirate, and I go,
Yeah, pirate, yeah.
And I was able to draw that, and I go, I can draw. I didn't know graphic design was an art form back then, so I only knew art as, an illustrator. And my dad used to work for McDonnell Douglas, and I drew one of the planes from a sticker, and I can remember that clearly. I go, okay, I can draw. I want to be an artist.
Get the one
Do
you're
it.
charging the full
When I did that, so I needed to be something in art.
Don't really know how to draw anymore. Just kind of when you go to school, you either take the illustration route or the graphic design route. I took the graphic design route, so it's a lot easier.
Computers and stuff. I'm just
Speaking of a guy that can't draw, what about you, Carlos? What about you, Carlos? And you a guy that can't draw at all?
Dang, shots fired after the cannon.
I think for me it was like there was a thing in high school where they would have these poetries. It's like a book of poetry mixed with arts or something like that. And I remember that I saw a bunch of people do covers, and I was thinking, man, I could do better than that. I would do, and I always wanted to be on the cover, and I submitted. I was never on the cover, and then finally one day I just drew our chieftain for Santa Fe High School. I drew the chieftain with two tomahawks running, and this is the time where it's like the probably the mid '90s. So like, at that time, everybody wants to be a comic book artist. Comic books were really, really hot. Everybody wanted to be a comic book artist. The Jim Lees, the Rob Liefelds were, it's like all that stuff was really hot. And so, McFarlane had just released his toy line. So it was just one of those things where I wanted to be on the cover. And so I worked really, really hard, and my anatomy sucked so bad. And I don't know how I made it through, but I pushed for it so much that when I hit the cover, I actually became it became common. So I felt like, man, I could do something with this. And I was doing graffiti stuff too, but at the same time, it was like very character based, and I thought, man, this could this is fun. I liked the fact that my stuff was getting on covers, and it wasn't anything big. I mean, like I said, it was just the students would get it, and there'd be poetry inside from other students. But the fact that I made it on the cover, I thought was really neat, and I think I chased that. You know what I mean? That wanting to finish something that was meaningful, and so I think that's what kind of like sparked a little bit more interest and stuff like that. So then I started doing T-shirt art, which is, local schools or, they were looking for. There was a silkscreen company that was looking for an artist, and so I would skate to this place, and I would learn how to do silk screening, and I learned from Ruben Martinez that was at Mattel. I learned from him. I was still a kid, and Ruben was one of their top artists. And then Joe Benitez was one of the other artists that went over to Top Cow Comics. He started working on Weapon Zero, and so I started following that path, and I started seeing Ruben, and I started seeing all these different avenues and stuff. And then and right around that time is when I got caught with graffiti stuff, and I really had to change my perspective. And so I think I really followed suit on that. And so I think that's, it all started with that one Beastly Bestiary book, man. I think that was it for me.
So just a couple things as we're kind of talking about, art, and when did you get your start? When did you create something? What are the things that's, the connective tissue that we can recognize here is that, like, all of you guys had your start at a very young age, right? Like, all of you guys can remember back to 5, 6, like very young ages where you guys created something and felt very proud about. And I'm sorry to get on my teacher soapbox here, but that's one of the things that I want to make sure that as we're kind of going through this is one of the things that we want to prioritize here is that, there's our kids are creative, right? So we want to make sure that we nurture that and that we have places like this, right, that kind of that we do our best to make sure that we're cultivating that and nurturing that. And that's, I think, one of the things that the Artisan Social Club wants to do is create a space where, creativity is seen more as a necessity rather than a luxury, right? And like we can actually like see these gifts that these kids have at such a young age and be able to like bring that up. So I think it's just awesome that all of you guys kind of had that same experience at such a young age. And you guys are able to talk about it here so that now parents who are maybe watching this or maybe, other young artists or people who are kind of coming up, they can kind of see like, oh yeah, all these guys got their start as a kid too. This is something I should continue pursuing. And even if you're not winning, poetry book covers or working at the Penny Saver or doing all these different things, you might have created something that you were really proud of. So just pursue that, right? Pursue that, allow that passion to be a pathway towards success, right? So I just thought that was really awesome that you guys all kind of brought that up, and it was something that like all of you guys here did that. We didn't find out that we were creative till like I don't know, like a year ago maybe we started doing this podcast thing. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool. But in that same vein, then
Jay's being very, very humble. He self-published his own little poetry book too.
Oh,
so
stop.
I mean, come on, he's an artist in his own way too. But it's great to hear that a lot of you guys have started when you were young. I got my kids who have been, doing their thing, and I try to nurture
I
them.
mean, I don't know if you want to mention Saw Cat,
So, it's funny.
I remember Saw Cat.
So because everyone's mentioning that they started out young, and Jonathan actually, when he was, how old were you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I don't even know. Probably like around that same age, like 7,
Like 7,
8.
6.
and-
It was
He
like
wrote his-
2005.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Forever 5, dude.
Forever 5. Bro.
OMG.
Like-
It comes around full circle.
Full circle, guys. And he wrote actually his own little book, but he, I don't know if I should because he called it Saw Cat. And I'm like, I know I did not watch the Saw movies with him sitting next to me, so I don't know where he got that idea. But he wrote about a killer cat named Saw Cat or something like that. What was it?
So like it was like a killer cat. Basically, I guess the premise of Saw. Now that I think about it, kind of like capturing like just people and like making them like do little games and stuff. I don't know where.
I did not let him see that movie, so I don't know where he got the idea for that. Or how he did that. But anyways. He started out young too, but Jay has the next question you want to pose with these guys?
For sure. So one of the things that I wanted to just kind of ask you guys is, how did you get your start in toys or graphics? So again, for everybody here, how did you guys get your start in toys or in the packaging, graphic design? So Joe, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I always drew in high school, and I used to do murals and, like whatever. And I drew I was part of the yearbook staff, drawing like, oh, can you draw this? And drawing the floats from high school and anything, homecoming floats and event floats. And then I actually was in the PTA Reflections contest, and I had a painting that actually, I came up with the idea. I just kind of did it in watercolor, and then I inked it, and it won the district, and then it won the kind of valley, and then it won LA, and then it won California, and then it won so I ended up getting second place in the nation. It was crazy. It happened really fast, and then it ended up going to Washington D.C. for the national convention. I got to meet Bill Clinton. This is back in the late 90s. It was cool. Yeah. So that was a big deal. So that's when I was like, wow, I can actually do something with this, So, and luckily I was blessed with really supportive parents. They never told me stop drawing. That's a waste of time. Go do something else. So I always had that. I knew I was very blessed, and I know a lot of kids don't have that. And that's another reason I think the Artisan Social Club is great, because we're here to inspire and push you and also to educate parents that this is a viable career. If my parents didn't push me, and I know a lot of people told my parents, why are you letting me go to art school? I went to Otis College of Art and Design, which Lloyd teaches at, and Dennis as well. Thanks for doing that. So I went there. I graduated a long time ago, but if I hadn't had parents that were supportive in that, I would have never had that opportunity, and now own a creative agency. This is where we're at, so it's pretty cool that you can come full circle if you just believe in your abilities and be humble and always be a sponge and always want to learn, because there's always somebody better than you and has more years of experience than you. And so you can't get jealous because they're a couple years ahead of you. You can just learn from them and take that to the next level. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. So don't give up.
There you go.
Facts. And he like, you guys are just seeing this. You can just see a little bit of the room here, but this building is freaking nice. Dude, this place is beautiful. It's a beautiful building. Oh, what?
The what?
I heard myself. I heard the beautiful sultry voice. No, but this is an awesome thing, and I'm just glad that you kind of mentioned that about parents too. Just out there, be supportive about your kids too. Let them do what they got to do. And yeah. Roman?
It's funny that you say the parents thing, because my parents, it wasn't opposite. It's not that they didn't support it. It was, cool, you can draw, but go get your education first and take all your AP high school courses first. And it's like, oh, I want to take art classes. You can't, because AP history instead. You got to take that. So all the art classes in high school, took none. I took drafting 1 year, and then the rest was all just academics. So I was really put off by it. The only one that really supported me was my dad. He knew I could draw, but it wasn't okay, we're gonna put you in art programs. It was nothing. So anything that I would have to do, it was either through friends or I would have to kind of just go out on my own adventure. So it all started, a lot of it came from graffiti. I started seeing my friends who could draw really good, and then they got into graffiti, and it was it was a lot of cartoon characters, and I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. I can graffiti all day and do cartoon characters. So it started from that, and then high school. I never graduated high school, and then I went into community college, and I went to this. It was a job fair that showed a Pixar movie. It was one of the first Pixar movies, and it was just like, this is it. Like computer graphics is like, I'm all in on this. Like this is what I want to do. So I started taking graphic design classes through that, and that's how I kind of started off the graphic career. And everything, it was like job after job after job until I did a lot of apparel stuff. And then toys, though, like specifically toys, wasn't until Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels hired me out to do freelance. One of my friends had already worked there, and they wanted me to do some drawings for some Hot Wheels cars. And I started doing that, and then they asked me to come in and work full time. And that was like my introduction to toys. Like I knew of toys, but I really didn't think of a career of it. And then that was my way in. And then once I started working there and you start walking around the building, it's like everybody was an amazing artist, no matter what. Like you walked one cubicle, I had a style like this, go to another cubicle, another style. So it was just amazing network of people. So what I would do was just walk around and just talk to people. Like, hey, so what are you working on? Like, hi, I'm Roman. Yeah, so that was my thing, was I would walk around a lot. They'd be like, well, how come you're not at your desk, Roman? It's like, because I was walking around, like, making my rounds.
It's like networking.
But it was
right?
a network.
Yeah,
it was
networking.
all network, like groups that we would never work with. I want to see what they were doing. Like, and then Hot Wheels area was far away from like the Barbie side, but Barbie had a ton of different artists too. So you would just kind of walk around that area and see what everybody was doing. Yeah.
So you were always Roman.
I was roaming around. Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Like that.
But yeah. So that's
You'll be
kind
here
of how I
all
got my
day,
start.
guys.
Yeah.
Joe, come.
That's awesome, dude. Because that's great. Because it's crazy
Oh, wait,
that you were talking about. Whoa, what the?
Sorry,
Whoa.
What happened here?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just,
You de-aged.
I was like a
Jay de-aged. Go ahead.
It was a Hot Wheels talk, dude. That's great. Yeah, dude, it's crazy because that brings me back. I loved Hot Wheels as a kid, and I loved playing with, just the iconic orange tracks, and I used to, dude. I wished that I got the what is it called? Like that track that has the
Where it boosts the
yeah,
thing
it
through?
boosts
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
too. I never
Oh,
got
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I think one time I was playing with one of my friends and I got my finger stuck. So then I actually never played with it again.
He's like, nope.
But hey, I like the cars. The cars were awesome, dude. Yeah.
A quick note on that, on the Hot Wheels. When I first started Hot Wheels, my brother loved cars. He was all into Hot Wheels. He would have a big bucket of cars and he would sleep with that. Like literally like sleep next to him with a big bucket of cars. So he had all of them. I'd had like 2 or 3, but when we started Hot Wheels, I was like, I know I have one Hot Wheels car somewhere. So I finally found it, and then I would put it right up on top of my monitor. So like every day I'd be like, oh man, like it came full circle. Like this is weird. Like I played with Hot Wheels as a kid, and now I'm sitting here like designing Hot Wheels, which was really weird. Yeah.
That's crazy how that works out, dude.
I know.
Yeah, it's very odd.
That's a.
So yeah, never.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying. Always be a sponge. Like he was walking around the campus, and just learning from other artists, trying to get better, and like like getting inspired. Because as good as you think you are, there's always somebody that you can learn from. So I think that's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, so same. I guess same.
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Dennis, tell us how did you get into the business of toy design?
Yeah, it was really not until I got in college. I had a counselor that told me, do something that you would do for free. I was going to go into engineering. I like math, but I didn't love math, and I know with engineering I had to do more. I had to take more math classes, so I figured, all right, I do love art and design, and that's something I can do for free, if I could do it for free. But of course, we all get paid, want to get paid, but that's what he told me. If you can do something for free, what would it be? So that's when I chose graphic design.
Oh, wow, interesting. All right. What about you, Lloyd? Lloyd's still there, right?
Lloyd. Oh, there,
there he
there he
is.
is. Yeah.
You guys broke up there for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Lloyd.
Same question, Lloyd. How did you get your start in?
Oh, there you go. Sorry, guys. You guys broke up there for about 30 seconds. So we.
Oh, okay.
Got to upgrade your Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
I get 5G, man. Come on.
Lloyd,
Same question.
Yeah, same question, Lloyd. How did you get started into the toy design?
Man, I don't. My how did I start? I guess the most significant one for me was in high school. I've been really good at drawing, and I knew how to do calligraphy since elementary school, and so I was always good with hand lettering. And I had a friend of mine. His name was Joe, probably the most influential artist I followed. We were both in high school, and he learned how to airbrush. And he kind of turned me on to this craft of airbrushing. And you guys remember airbrushing T-shirts and your cars and your jeans? Well, that's where I kind of started my illustration kind of journey. Was I learned how to airbrush, and then I started doing T-shirts for people at school, and eventually, to put myself through college, I started airbrushing at events. So like at the lowrider car shows, all the different car shows, sometimes some fairs. My booth, I'd be like Mr. Cartoon would be there at the lowrider show. My booth would be like a few booths from him. I work with like different companies, and that's where it kind of started. And at one point, eventually when I was in college, I was at T-Shirt Plus. So I was in a couple spots. So if you ever went to the mall and you wanted something airbrushed, that was me.
Wow.
That was me. So I'd have little T-Shirt Plus with like, Joey loves Maria, or like, found out right later,
Yes.
right? Or people wanted their cars painted, and travel around all over California doing all the different car shows, and that kind of got me really started into kind of wanting to be an illustrator, focusing on illustration, and then focusing on learning how to draw better. And that actually was a good segue for me because in my senior year, I took a class from Airbrush Magazine. I had a class. I remember it was at Laguna Beach at the art school there. And that's when I first started really learning some techniques, how to airbrush professionally. And going through school, learning how to airbrush, learning how to draw, getting out of school, actually, I landed my first job as an illustrator. And I was that's where I started doing the key art for Disney and Warner Brothers and some of those like video covers you would buy when you were a kid. So it kind of it was like a perfect match with my skill set. So that's probably the most significant piece was learning how to airbrush. My guy named Joe in high school. And we're still friends to this day. We're still friends to this day. But he turned out badass. I started doing sign painting and learning how to do stuff in gold leaf and silver leaf, but he started painting cars and doing like pinstriping, and he was just that. That was the career I wanted to pursue. But man, I painted everything from my cars. You remember back in the day when all the truck clubs used to have their logos in the back of their trucks? Right? I used to do those, and then I used to do murals on people's cars, right? So, at the car shows, I do murals on people's vehicles and trunks and side of cars, whatever they wanted me to paint. Yeah, man, whatever they wanted me to paint. And I even painted like drag cars. So I paint like the headlights and graphics and stuff and helmets. So anything that had to do with painting and airbrushing, that was kind of the craft that I started with.
Hey, Lloyd.
Again, that's segue to my professional career.
Hey, Lloyd.
So that's kind of probably the most significant piece.
Did you ever paint like an Aztec warrior with the sacrifice over a volcano? No.
But I did paint a Hawaiian warrior holding like a stick.
Oh, that's a Hawaii. Wait, close enough.
Staring over in the water.
I knew it.
Same, he wasn't Aztec. He was Hawaiian.
Same difference.
Same stuff.
Man, I think my wife and I actually had one of those airbrush shirts.
That was it, man.
That's
how I got into it.
Those, but it wasn't whatever he said. Somebody loves Maria. It was Jeff loves Claudia or something like that with all airbrush, bro. So I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Damn. Carlos.
Carlos,
how'd you get started in the toy industry? Or toy design, I should say.
My story's a little weird. It's not anything close to what these guys were doing. I admired a lot of the airbrusher guys growing up. I saw them at the Pico Indoor. I saw them airbrushing, all that cool stuff, and I always wanted to learn it, but I never got to it. But so, anyways, I was working for an insurance company for a while, and I was at a Christian bookstore for a long time, and right out of high school, so I didn't really get into the arts right away. So one day, the guy that I was doing the T-shirt art for, Lino, he had a neighbor that used to work with me at the bookstore, and the neighbor was brother-in-laws with somebody at Jada Toys. And so when I moved over to the insurance company, I was there for a while. And then, anyways, Lino called me up one day and said, "Hey, man, there's this guy's brother-in-law is looking for an artist. I know that you draw stuff for me. I give him your numbers." So long story short, the guy ended up talking to me or whatever. We called each other up and we were talking about stuff. I told him what I was doing, and yeah, he brought me over for an interview at Jada Toys. And the funny thing about it was that at Jada, I used to collect their diecast cars. I used to collect all their tuners and all that race car stuff. So I had them on my desk at the insurance company. So it was just a really amazing turn of events, I guess, because I ended up going to the interview and I brought my portfolio at the time, was just like tattoo art and some stuff that I was working on. And it's just the messiest thing I've ever seen ever. My portfolio, they said, was probably the worst portfolio they've ever seen because it was sloppy. It was taped onto the plastic, and it was just a sad attempt of just trying to get a job outside of this insurance company. And anyway, so the guy that interviewed me, he had a bad hearing. He had a hearing problem, and so he hired me with the notion that he thought that I said I knew Illustrator. And I said I am an illustrator, and he thought I said I knew Illustrator. So he hired me.
Whatever works.
Yeah, so he hired me.
Fake it till you make it.
I got the job. He liked my work. He thought, you're very talented. Like you draw, you're a draftsman. You draw really well, but you don't have any, computer skills. I'm like, yeah, but whatever. But he thought I said I knew Illustrator. Come to work. I quit my job at the insurance company. I come to work, and he puts me on a project, and the project was to design a vehicle for a tuner car. And lo and behold, the tuner car was like, it came out to be one of the backdrop cars for Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I didn't know at the time though. And but he told me, yeah, we're gonna give you this pen tablet. And I was like, pen tablet? And he goes, yeah, you draw on the pen and it comes out on the computer. And I looked at him like he was talking about magic, because I could not put two and two together. I was like, how does this go on to that? And then he goes, yeah, you don't know Illustrator? And I said, no, I don't know. What is Illustrator? I don't know what that is. That was my first day on the job, and I didn't know. He was just like, he put his hands on his face. He didn't know what the hell, he didn't know what to do. And so he brought me into his office, and he's like, listen, you got about a week. He talked to the VP and said, you got about a week to figure it out, because, we can't have you if you don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah.
So Randy, the guy who did all the T-shirts for you guys, he actually loaned me his laptop. He loaned me his printer. He loaned me his little Cintiq, his Wacom tablet, his little tablet. It was when they were like clear, like blue and clear. And and I sat down. My wife just gave me sandwiches and passed it through the door, and I had to learn Illustrator and Photoshop over the weekend. I printed out a Lamborghini, which I still have here. I should frame it, but it's a Lamborghini I found online, and I put barbed wire and I stretched it. I just literally just used the stretch tool and I stretched it across the car, and then I changed the colors of the rims, and then I printed it out, and I went on Monday and I said, here, this is what I did. And then he said, all right, good, you can stay. And that's history after that. I just, just one weekend of Photoshop, but I was determined not to ever go back to insurance. I became one of their lead designers there, and then I went to Spin Master after that, and then everything just snowballed into this amazing career. So that's pretty much it. It was just somebody had a bad hearing, and that was my weird story. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't do any of that. I just went to Art Center for illustration, but I didn't finish. And I didn't finish college. I dropped out. I couldn't afford it. And I just worked really hard, and I just kept it going and didn't say no to anything. So I just kept moving. So
that's amazing.
That's my story.
That's an awesome story, man. That I didn't hear you. Crazy. When I can't hear my wife, she gets mad at me. I don't get like a good feel story with that, dude. It all goes downhill from there. It's like nothing works out really well. But so we're talking about that. That's a great, awesome story when it comes to like something that you made that became a success. And I thought it'd be interesting. What do you guys have like a design that like was like super successful for you guys? Like one thing that just one thing that you guys did that just blew up, or was like something that you're just so super proud of that you guys put together? Like when you did your first real flames, Roman, would be one? Or I'm just kidding. No. Is there
Still
this?
haven't done them.
Is there some? And anyone can, if you want to chime in. Anybody, if you have one like design that really was like super successful.
I think if I had to think, I guess. So after I graduated from Otis, I got a few odd jobs here and there, but I started working at a video game company, Vivendi Games, which we used to do Diablo, Warcraft, and then this is before they used to own Blizzard, and then they sold Blizzard, and then they merged with Activision, and so that's kind of where it is now, and I think they just got bought. Anyway, but they were bringing out the Ghostbusters video game, and I loved Ghostbusters when I was a kid. So I got to redesign the Ghostbusters logo and modernize it, like, add airbrush to it, make it look more 3D. And that was pretty cool because it was called Ghostbusters the game. And so I finished it, and it was great. And then they disbanded the company, and I was like, and then so Atari bought the game. Atari bought the rights to the game and continued it, and it did pretty well. So that was pretty cool because I got to work on a logo that's one of the most recognizable icons in the world. Still,
that's crazy. That's one of my favorite games.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Ghostbusters, the video game.
Really? Wow.
No, I'm not.
There you go.
I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I liked it so much that I bought the remastered version a couple years ago.
Wow. So there you go.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Full circle. That's pretty cool. I don't even think I played it. So
that's how much you believed in your thing, dude.
No, because it was a PC game, right? It was PC, right?
But I think I got a.
No, it was console. It was on. Yes, it was on Xbox and PlayStation 2, I believe, at the time. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to work on Ghostbusters. I was a big Ghostbusters fan. So.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Lloyd or John? I'm sorry, Roman.
A quick thing I want to circle back around. I want to ask everybody later what bad interviews you guys have had. Like Carlos, God, I had one that was really bad. But I want to know like who else had like really bad interviews. Yeah. Yeah, there's a point where I was going in where I was like nailing. Yeah, I was like nailing interviews.
I got a worse one, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, there was some that. Oh yeah. Oh, do you have one?
Because my name is Dennis.
And it sounds white, right? And these guys call me. Two white dudes. I show up. I think they were expecting a white Dennis Cannon, and I show up, and they're like, their eyes like, what the heck? You're not white. So I show up for it was a design job. They didn't even interview. They didn't even look at my portfolio. They just kind of talked to me for a little bit, and then that was it. So I think they were looking for a Dennis Cannon. So that was nice. I wasn't a bad interview. They were, respectful. They're nice, but obviously I didn't get the job.
Or a rapper. Maybe you could have been a rapper,
You weren't expecting a brown Dennis Cannon.
My bad one was I applied for this job. They were making movie posters in Burbank. I have no clue what the thing was. I was living in Rancho Cucamonga. I applied for this job in Burbank. I was like, dude, now I can showcase my graphic design skills that I was training for like 2 months. So I go there. I was 2 hours late. I had the wrong time. So I show up, and the guy, he goes, your interview was like at 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And I was like, oh, it was? Like, I'm sorry. He goes, all right, well, let's do a test with you. So I had to do a test on Quark Express, and it was a newer version than what I was used to. He goes, okay, here, redesign this poster. And then he just sat behind me, and I was sitting there. None of the tools were the same. Like the quick keys were all off, and I was like sitting there, and it looked like I was trying to make a line go straight and then make it fatter, and I could not make that line go fatter for some reason. And I was like, I'll just leave now. And the guy's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I was like, oh shit.
I'll show myself up.
That was my worst interview.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
At least you kept it real, dude. At least you kept it real. You took the.
But back to the first thing that I was really proud of as a designer was when I was taking a graphic design, or it was an Illustrator class to learn Illustrator, or it was Illustrator or Freehand. They had a program called Freehand, and my teacher, who was probably one of the first mentors that I had, who really saw that I had potential. So he kind of took me under his wing, and then he would do side jobs outside of teaching. So he brought me in. He goes, "Hey, Roman, do you want to join our this business that we have. I was like, yeah, like I'll do it. He goes, oh, we got this job that we need to redraw cell phones, but in vector. I was like, he goes, I think you have a really good handle on vector. And so I was like, all right. So I went home and I redrew all these. There were adapters for your car, and it would hold your cell phone. Yeah, it would hold your cell phone in your car. So I redrew them in black and white, and then I came back, and the guy was like, "Oh, these are amazing! Like these are great." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, we'll submit these, and if they like them, you'll get paid." And so they submitted them. They got paid. I got, I think they took 4 of my drawings, and I got $50 for each drawing.
All right.
I was like,
Yeah.
So I retired after that. I was like set, but I still have that.
Is that the money you used to buy those red boots?
I did.
The mystery
Yeah, that's
boots?
what I used
There
that
you go.
money.
There you go.
But I still have that same. That was my first like big pay that I still have it framed in my little office. I got a nice little. I found the actual printout for it, and then I was like, so I framed it up. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, you look at it now, it's like, what is that? Like that's a stupid drawing, but it was good. It was big for me.
How about you, Lloyd? Other than the airbrushed Hawaiian warrior, did you have another like a successful design there?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know what? I honestly, I think the thing that made it feel really concrete was I told you I started doing kind of key art early on in my career, and I finally saw one on print. So I did these like little Disney characters, and so back in the day it wasn't digital, it was all hand done. So we had to illustrate everything by hand. So through airbrush, line work, all that stuff. And I think it was one of the first ones I did was and they were I had to draw these, illustrate little heads for Lion King. And so I had to illustrate these little heads, and they were being used for some promotion. And I remember seeing that printed, and I thought that was really cool. And then also seeing my artwork on the actual like DVD covers, right? When I finally saw the printed piece, I go, holy shit! What I did is like it's real, right? It's actually out there. I thought that was really significant. And one more was I illustrated Little Mermaid for the Little Mermaid 2, I think it was, and we illustrated the tail going into this water, and I remember seeing it on Hollywood Boulevard, and I thought that was fucking sick, and I was like, oh, sorry my language, but I thought that was like amazing, like to see your artwork on a billboard that you spend countless hours on illustrating, and it's different when you see it in a scale in your hand versus seeing something on the billboard. I thought that was pretty amazing. So
That's
it's
awesome.
really cool.
That's
And I
amazing.
think to a lot of our artists here, it's like when you see your stuff, because we come from humble beginnings, right? None of us weren't given us these opportunities for free, and we work hard to really hone in our craft, understand art and creativity, and then when you finally see it in print, and when you see it live, it's a really good feeling. I think that's kind of a biggest part of us being a mentor and understanding like how some of these kids are going through is just that feeling of accomplishment that we kind of take for granted, honestly. As I started doing more key art, I started seeing more of my stuff, and it just at one point I was kind of like, oh, I got to paint another Mickey Mouse today. Oh, who cares, And looking back, it was like, man, that's like a big deal. You going to Disneyland and wanting to paint and draw Mickey Mouse. Now you're getting paid to paint Mickey Mouse. And I mean, that to me was like, wow, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I think most of these guys here, or most of the mentors and women in this group feel the same, that like, hey man, we're getting paid for something that we really love. And we can't take for granted that what we're doing are accomplishments. We are trendsetters. We are people that are trailblazers, especially in the type of families we grew up in, being a lot of us first generation, right? Immigrant. There was not a lot of opportunity for us. And our parents, they just wanted to make sure they had food for us, right? And there was a house. And now we can say, hey man, we did this awesome thing. I painted Mickey Mouse, and Dennis did this, and Carlos did that. Are real. Of them. So I'm really proud of saying that probably it, man. Just learning to be humble about it and seeing those accomplishments in real life and being tangible and touching. Yeah. That's where
Yeah,
it is.
that's great. And I know there was some questions on the chat. I think right on the stream. Jay, was there questions on there that we would wanted to open it up for them?
There were some that they were asking if there was going to be a Q&A session, so we can open it up. You can ask maybe one more
Oh, yeah.
question, and then we'll make sure.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and open it up and see if people have questions that they want to ask our mentors while they're on here. So we have, the toy designers here, and I know there's like different levels, right? We have the toy designers, and we have the people who are doing the packaging on these toys. How do you guys work together, or do you even work together? Do you guys not talk to each other, or do you guys talk to each other? How does that work when it comes with the toy designers and the toy packaging? Joe, you're right.
I don't like talking to anybody.
No, you roam around, man. We know you talk to everyone.
That's right, Roman. Yeah, so I didn't even think packaging was a thing until I started working in video games. And I was like, oh, working on the video game packaging itself. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Because I remember growing up playing Atari and Nintendo. That was the first thing you did when you bought the game. You turn it around to look at what the game looked like, right? You said this amazing key art on the front, illustration. And then you turn it around and you'd be like, oh, this is awesome. And then you don't realize, even I was talking about Ghostbusters. He actually played the game, and I didn't play it, but it was just funny. There's always somebody that's out there enjoying what you're doing, and you don't even realize it. The impact it has sometimes because you're just in the day-to-day work of it. So I kind of fell into doing packaging, and it kind of then I got a job at Mattel. I actually worked here at McHale Design, funny enough, as a temp designer. And for Maureen McHale, who started McHale Design, and actually purchased a company from her. 10 years later, it's wild how things happen. But doing that, this is the stuff that my team does here. Working on Ninja Turtles and Voltron and Miraculous, which are huge brands. It's super cool. And working with the toy designers to make sure the toys are represented beautifully on the package, because when you go to the toy store, a kid just doesn't want to grab a toy. They want the experience of the package. It adds value. If it has Try Me, lights and sounds, awesome photography of kids playing with it on the back, or all that, or special moments from the movie or the property on it. That's the kind of stuff we do, and working hand in hand with the toy designers, much like Carlos is a toy designer, Roman, and I'm sure you have the other side of the fence since you didn't do the packaging, but you did the actual product or the graphics for the package. So I'll let you chime in on that part.
Dennis, since you're in packaging, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, in this industry, you have to work with everybody in the team, right? You've got product, marketing, social media. It's important. I do have something to share. Let me share my screen real quick. I don't know if it's going to show up on your end. I want to share my process of working with the design team.
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Dennis.
Get this going here. Is it okay if I share?
Yeah,
something?
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Is it okay?
Do it.
If I can find it first. What's that?
No, it's perfectly fine. Go for it, but we want to see it. Go for it.
Sorry.
That's
Working on
Yoda.
some other stuff. So this is my. You guys see my screen, right?
Do Command L. That's my guy.
Yeah. So in terms of working with a product designer, right? So this is a toy product, Star Wars brand that I worked on. You gotta work with your product guy to find out what the toy does, right? We're not the designer of this product. We make the packaging look good. So you have to communicate or talk to him. Hey, what the toy do? And he's going to tell you because he's going to want this toy to sell and look good too on packaging, right? So then we do a rough sketch of that. And then from there, we'll do a tight sketch where we'll place that sketch inside the front panel of the packaging. We share this throughout the team with design, with marketing, sometimes the licensor. And then once everything is approved, right, we go to final render. So from there, we'll apply that into a full color packaging. And then, and then we also do product photography on the back. And then we explain what this toy does. As you can see, we make the product really, really pop, make it interesting for the kid. We always say the front is a fantasy shot for the kid, and then the back is more of a beauty shot. That's for the mom explaining what the toy does. So yeah, this is why it's important to work with your product design team.
That's great.
Stop
And then
sharing.
Dennis, how many rounds did this get? Like from the rough sketch, like does it go straight to the tight sketch, or is it like we want to see 10 more sketches?
Dry toy. I believe it's a $9.99 item. There's only kind of certain way you can position it to show the play pattern. So this wasn't very difficult. So in terms of rounds, probably 1 or 2 rounds, because we as an art director, you really want to you got to how you want to position the toy to sell it. And that comes by practice, right? You kind of work that throughout your career. You get better at it. At this point, I was kind of like, okay, this is what the toy does. This is what I wanted to show. Everybody loves it because it shows the play pattern, the fantasy of the. This wasn't too difficult, so this was an easy play pattern product.
And does that?
Hey, Dennis, leave that up because I'm going to piggyback a little bit on your conversation about this topic. And so the process that Dennis is showing is very similar to the process, I guess, me and Dennis and other kind of graphic designers or package designers have worked through. And I think one key thing that we always want to make sure that we're providing to our consumers the storytelling piece, right? I think that's the most important part. We have about 3 seconds for a mom as she walks by to make this packaging or something to stand out. So I think it's really important as we're kind of developing, everything looks pretty and everything looks tight, but there's got to be a lot of storytelling in there within those 3 seconds to make your mom or your parents or your grandparents who find this product to stop and look at it. As you know, Star Wars and all these other playsets, 24 feet of product, right? And so I think a challenge for us as designers and illustrators is we're competing even with ourselves, because like I know Dennis and myself and Joey, we work on a full product line. So it's not we're just working with one toy. We're working on 20 other toys.
Is the power thing?
No, it's on. It's probably just not powerful enough to.
That's all right. So we still got Joe and Roman. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry. Technical difficulties once again. But one thing that Dennis was talking about, which is funny, because he actually ended up putting on the back of package some of the products you have a kid on it, right? Playing with, like usually if it's a boy brand, usually you have a boy, or a girl brand. He actually put my son on a Star Wars package, which was pretty funny. A few years ago when my son was like 7. So that was pretty cool. He was actually on a Star Wars package, so that's a pretty cool story. So I was pretty excited to see it in the store and then have people buy it. It was pretty cool.
We did have a question on the chat from Michael Froenhoff. He was asking, does anybody have a particular favorite brand or line they worked on and why?
I guess Star Wars is huge. Working on Star Wars is a great brand. It's one of my favorites growing up for sure. And Ninja Turtles is fun. Like I love Ninja Turtles. And we just worked on the new movie. This is some of the new product. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's a great brand. And, I love Voltron. Like, when I was a kid, Voltron was huge. So bringing that back was pretty cool. And what brand I wasn't a huge fan of, but I kind of grew to love, was WWE. Like, I worked on WWE for 6 years at Mattel. So that was pretty cool. Actually going to WrestleMania, meeting the superstars, seeing how the toys are made, the deco's chosen, and then doing the packaging and then rebranding it every 2-3 years, because you want the product and the packaging to look fresh for collectors, because WWE has a huge collector base, so they always want a new line look every 3 years or so, 2-3 years. So because it's a huge cult following, and it's even bigger now that they merged with UFC. So now WWE is even bigger than ever. So So that's a pretty cool brand, and I kind of grew to really like that. So, yeah. So what about you, Roman?
Brands would be, it's probably Star Wars. When I was on Hot Wheels, we got the Star Wars license, and we weren't allowed to do diecast, but they wanted Star Wars Hot Wheels. So we had to put, I think it was like 10% of diecast within the toy, and everything else had to be plastic. But working, I had to like do all the turnarounds for like the Millennium Falcon, all the ships. So that was a really fun. Like I grew up with all those spaceships, so it was like being able to work on it. That was really cool.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's crazy because, you know, like a lot of those designs that are your favorites are also like, you know, kids' favorites from when they were kids, and obviously like it reflects on you know the kids who, like Dennis was saying, see that front packaging, you know, and are interested already just from the get-go. You know, that's awesome to.
Yeah,
to,
absolutely,
to
and
see
that's one of the things when, like Lloyd was talking about, when they're walking down the aisle, you're walking down the aisle, there's a million other brands on there that are competing, right, for their attention. So you definitely have to have a compelling image that really speaks to the product and it showcases it. Or they saw the commercial on TV, right? Back in the day, there was a lot of toy commercials, right? Yeah. You show the toy, what it does. Oh, I want that. You go to the store and you have some really nice packaging that draws their eye to make that purchase. Or the other thing we do, which is important in toy packaging, is say a mom has $20. She's going to a kid's party. The kid likes Hot Wheels. So she has $20. I don't know what to get for $20. So, and you have 3 or 4 similar items on the aisle that she can pick from. So the communication, what it does, what it says, the price value, and also how many pieces it is, showing how big it is. Is it going to take up her whole living room, or is it just a tabletop thing? So those are the kind of things that drive the decision, the purchase decision, because you want to make sure you're buying the right thing for the best price value a lot of times. Yeah. Or if it's something the kid directly says, I want this one, that you can find it quickly on shelf.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's it's so funny that you're mentioning that too, because I was gonna ask earlier, you know, what you were just saying right now. A kid is walking down an aisle and there's hundreds of different toys to captivate, you know, a children's eyes, you know. So the question was gonna be how do you captivate that children's eyes? And Dennis was explaining it, you know, pretty perfectly, with just the design and even just the try me little. Right.
And he mentioned that fantasy shot, to really.
Yeah, the fantasy illustration.
For me, like if I were to see that as a kid, I would be like, wow, like if I buy this product, it would literally be exactly like that picture while I'm playing with it. So. That was a great demonstration of that fantasy shot.
Yeah, and absolutely. And a lot of things too, the unsung heroes are like copywriters. So we would work directly with copywriters to come up with compelling copy and make it look fun on package that explains the product, what it does, as a cool call to action, like destroy the Death Star, or something, whatever that is, right? Or it comes with 20 pieces or whatever. The storytelling is, so that's important. Also working with the marketing team, because they're the ones that actually have to sell the product to the buyers, whether they're going to selling at Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, wherever it is. That's the toy industry. We have our part, and also the product team. Obviously, they have to create the product that's within budget, that's going to be profitable, because that's how they make money, right? That's how toy companies remain profitable, because they have to make the stuff that sells, and that's what kids want. And so our role is important too. Unfortunately, a lot of packaging is disposable. They just open the toy, they play with it, they throw away the packaging. But collectors love keeping the packaging, right? Things are more valuable if you have them in the original packaging, always. So that's an important thing too, that you don't really think about, like 20 years from now, that it's still going to be in the original packaging. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So
that's cool.
Yeah. It's a lot, big process.
Yeah, for sure. We have another question from the live stream comments. Here from Ethan Lee. He's asking this. Now seems to be kind of sort of a dry season in the toy industry in terms of jobs. How did you handle the dry seasons in your career, and what would you advise people who are trying to secure a foothold in that position?
Save your money. Save. save as much as you can, because it's up and down all the time, and you never know what's going to happen. So first thing is you just save during these times, and then what I like to do is, instead of having, like when I was working at Mattel, I was still working on a bunch of stuff outside. So I was always working on something else. So if something's not paying at this moment, then you have like option 2 and option 3 that could help kind of bring in some extra money. So it's good to kind of think outside what you're actually working on, and like what's next, and what else. Just because I'm working at this place, what can I do myself as well? Like what can I invest money in for myself at the same time? So times like that,
those are great points. And also, don't burn any bridges. I think that's an important thing. Like, stay friendly with everyone. Like, you never know who's going to give you your next job or refer you, or you're going to bump into somebody that, oh, I was just thinking I need an illustrator or I need a product, and I remember how good you were. So you always have a great reputation, and especially in my role now, where I own a creative agency, I have to like talk to companies. So we don't work for one specific toy company. We work for all toy companies, all youth entertainment brands. So having those relationships is super important. And always be cool with everyone. Don't have an ego, because at the end of the day, you're there to make the company money, right? To sell product, to design things that sell, because that's going to keep you your job. And then even if there's layoffs, they can hire you, or you get hired somewhere else. So there's always lulls in every industry. It doesn't matter what it is. But keeping those strong relationships is super important. And in those downtimes, keep working on your skills. There's always something new to learn. There's always something a new tool, a new app. And now there's AI out there, like learning AI. How can you work that into your workflow? Like, that's important, to always be learning. So I hope that kind of those points answer some of those concerns.
Yeah, and as as artists, this is a question for both of you as artists. I know there's probably times you've struggled with certain things, maybe the imagination not working or something, or like not coming through, or what has been the biggest thing you've struggled with, and how did you deal with it?
Go ahead.
It's always ideas. Like, it's like, where do ideas come from? And you try to look to see, like, okay, where's I succeeded at this thing. Where's my next idea coming from? And I'm still struggling with that. So it's just a matter of just, keeping your eyes open, keeping up with the news, what's the products are out there, what everyone else is doing, and just try to take inspiration from everything. And right now it's like really easy to get inspiration everywhere. It's almost like too much inspiration because of like Instagram, there's just so much. You're getting bombarded so much. But it kind of, what do you like, and kind of go in that direction and just try to fight through it. And a lot of it's like, say you just kind of like, if you're having struggle drawing, like, I need to draw this, but it's not coming through. It's like, well, draw something else. Just like keep drawing until whatever you're drawing, it'll take you to that next step. So it's kind of like if you're writing, like, I'm not doing good at writing, just keep writing. Like, who cares if you're writing something good or writing something bad? Just kind of keep doing it, and then that kind of helps your mind get to that next point, as opposed to just sitting there watching TV and eating cookies and which I love to do.
I was gonna say, nothing wrong with that, but you made it, make sure you're actually trying to get out there, right, and do something.
I was gonna ask too, because I guess in regard to just that that topic of struggling with like designer's block, I guess, if you would call it that. But it was something that Joe, you were mentioning earlier about AI. How has AI because AI is crazy now. You have Chat GPT, you have Dolly, you have all of these different things that can basically write a whole like essay in like seconds. But there's also AI that can design stuff. So how I don't know if you've ever seen that, but how is that? I'm sure that's a really touchy subject. That's very artists, that's dangerous. So how do you how do you combat that?
Like, I'm trying to embrace AI as much as I can. Like, it's here, so you gotta face it. You gotta face it. You gotta work with it. and a lot of it I'm trying to get into the tools to have it more as a tool to help me get to the next step. Oh, I see a shirt coming. So that's how I'm trying to take AI. The design, like what I know, what people are doing with it now, there a lot of them are using, like the Mid Journey. A lot of people are using it for concept. So they'll use it for the concepts. Concepts look amazing already, but it's kind of like, okay, that'll help me get to where I want to go now. Now I'll just enhance that concept.
Yeah, and I believe that's like what the purpose of it, is to give people concept. I mean, that was the purpose of ChatGPT, right? Is to give you, I mean, you're supposed to, use it for outlines, essays and stuff. Obviously, people, and I mean, like, me still being in high school, everyone was using it for their assignments and all that. Like, and I mean,
ChatGPT is
you
the
use
bane of my existence, dude. Like,
yeah. So, like for the ChatGPT, I use it all the time. Come up with concepts like, oh, here's a log line, or give me a log line for like a movie idea, and here's my things, and it'll give me it. Or like, oh, I need a bio for myself. So take that. So they'll punch out something, but then it's up to you to go back in and make it your own. Like, hey, this is but it's a good outline of how I can take pieces and parts of it, and then use my own creativity to make it my own. Yep. So yeah, if you're just copying and pasting, like, people will start to see right through it. Yeah.
Dude, I would literally see kids copying and pasting essays from like their phones onto like a Google Doc, and then trying to turn that into me and being like, oh, this is my essay for this assignment. So I was like, bro, I was literally just watching you here. Just like, I saw you hit cut, paste, and like you put it onto your thing.
Did you ever notice anything that came out the same? Like phrases or sentences? Like, hey, this has the same exact sentence as this kid over here.
Oh, like how it just like
it was like the same?
Circulating? Yeah. We would see that all the time. Oh, wow. And so that's usually how we would, because they got smart though. Yeah. They would like, let's send it to the smart kid who would like could get away with maybe doing something like this. So he would get it through, and then they would start sharing it amongst like everybody else. So like once everyone else started getting it, we're like, all right, no, bro, like no, you've never written this in your you never written like this in your life. But yeah,
I think AI is still the Wild West. Like there's so much unknown, like where it's gonna go and how it's gonna evolve. I think learning it is definitely wise because there's no stopping it. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and become more utilized as a tool in every industry, every touch point. It's going to touch everything at some point. So being familiar with it, comfortable with it is important. But at the same time, like Midjourney and stuff like that, I don't even know if you can use that stuff on a final package or because it's AI generated and it's inspired and taken from other artists, or I really don't know the legalities of it. We can actually see if it creates an amazing illustration, but can you actually use it and make money with it?
Right.
I don't know. So.
All right, we got the Zoom people back. Sorry about that, guys, but we do have Carlos and them back. I wanted to pose this question, Carlos, and for the people on Zoom, because we lost them for a bit, but I wanted to ask you guys, for those that are out there, those 2D and those 3D artists out there, what is the best advice you can give them for trying to get into toy design or package design?
God, who asked that? Was that Ethan?
It was Jeff.
That's your student.
Oh, and that was me.
It was one of our students, right? Yeah.
Oh,
that
was one of your students.
Thank you so much for chatting in. I appreciate it. And Ethan was one of our talented students at Otis. And
alma mater.
Look, at the end of the day, like we're competing against ourselves. We're competing with other designers and other people that have been in the industry for a while. And I tell this to my students was, if you're a toy designer and you want to, at the end of the day, you're a product designer, right? Don't just put yourself in one basket where you're saying, hey, I only design for a toy company, or I only design for this industry. What's great about toy design is that it can actually expand to not just toys, but to merchandise, right? So go out there and not hit only the toy companies, hit up all these gift companies, merchandising companies that specializes in creating gifts and ideas. They're always looking for talented artists that doesn't necessarily have to just be toys. So for example, hey, we need this really cool licensed, Mickey Mouse bowl with, with light. So let's just say I'm just making this up. A lot of companies like that do need uh, toy designers or people who can draw or product designers in those type of companies to present concepts to the licensees. So I think moving outside of just not only the toy industry is one key thing to look for work. Continue to go to networking events and then finding people that you know. A lot of times, honestly, opportunities come in if you're there, right? If you're there, if you know 10 times, nothing's gonna come out of it. But maybe that 11th time when you're there, people will remember you or like, hey man, I've got this one gig. It's low paying, but it's an opportunity to put something in your portfolio. And I think it's something that we have to continue to have. And I think that's what this next generation really needs is consistency and grit, right? And then the ability to not give up. I think you guys are already at a level and you guys graduated. Believe in yourself. We believed in you as teachers. It's important to believe in you that continue that journey. Because man, I tell you, I've worked with some really talented artists, and I've worked with some not so talented artists. And you know, and a lot of the time, those so talented artists was just they they had working on their craft and just got better and better and better until they were phenomenal. So Ethan, man, if that's you, keep up the work. Reach out to me and see how I can help.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
Awesome. All right, so that's great, and thank you for all of you guys participating and coming in and watching the live stream. Before we end the roundtable on our podcast, the Beta Report, new episode every Wednesday. We're available on any podcast app. We have a segment that we call Pick of the Week.
Pick of the week.
Yeah, if you weren't listening on headphones, I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, I know. Apologize. Should have given you guys a warning, but
Should have warned you guys.
This is what we do. You know what I mean?
On our segment that we call Pick of the Week, we no. On our segment, we give our recommendations as to what you should be watching that week. Any new show, any movie. We sometimes do music, something that we want to do, and we choose something. We want to give the guys on this panel. We're going to give you guys the pick of the week. What would you guys give us as a pick? A TV show, a movie? What do you guys pick? Really quick, so you don't have to spend too much time on it. What would you guys give us as your pick of the week? We're going to start off with Joe. Joe, what's your pick?
Sure. So, really quick. So, today, everyone, we actually worked on the packaging here at McHale Design with Playmates Toys. Is the Ladybug Cat Noir movie. It's debuting today on Netflix. So, anybody that is into Miraculous, it's a big brand and it's pretty fun. So, it's just debuted today. So, if you have the opportunity, check it out. And then, one last thing, since I mentioned Ninja Turtles, and we at McHale Design also did help Playmates Toys do a lot of the Ninja Turtle packaging. The movie comes out Wednesday, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, August 2nd. It's going to be awesome. It's animated, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really epic movie. A lot of great people in it. Ice Cube. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, shameless plug. There's going to be 2 movie reviews for both of those movies on the Beta Report website. So if you guys want to go ahead and read about... I mean, you should just watch the movies anyways. But if you want to hear our thoughts about those movies, make sure you go to the Beta Report. Next week, we'll have a review for both of those movies.
Yep, absolutely. It wasn't planned, right? It was just came up that way. The American
Yes! Amazing. Man, you've been hitting those all day today.
Dang, Joe's
you
on
gotta
a
write
roll.
our scripts, bro.
Joe's on a roll. Go ahead, roll.
Go, Lloyd.
Lloyd. Okay, Lloyd.
Tag him in.
What's your pick of the week?
I got no pick of the week. I'm a big F1 fan, so if you guys are F1 fans,
F1?
Sorry, brother.
There you go. We'll go with that. That's cool. Roll with that. Roll with that.
All right.
Roman.
Carlos.
Oh, Carlos. Are you giving time number than the things or something? I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. All right, Carlos, what's your pick of the week?
I would say the Sound of Freedom is really good, man. You guys gotta go see that. It's just incredible. We just watched it last night. It was amazing. Really good movie, and definitely needs to be plugged, man. It's a really good story and a good message, man. We gotta be aware of that stuff, man. It's really important and interesting for sure.
All right.
Awesome.
Oh
Dennis,
wait, I got
Dennis.
something. I got something. I got something.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go, dude.
All right, go, Lloyd, go, Lloyd.
The Philippine national women's soccer team. They're going to be playing. They won one game.
That's right.
They got one more, I think, on the 30th or 31st. So make sure you tune in, man. Hey, Filipinos got to represent. I'm proud of them. You know, if you like
There you go. All right.
What's up?
Let's
women
go.
playing soccer, that's Filipino. So, yeah, watch it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Us Filipinos got to stick together.
there you go.
My Filipinos.
Filipino.
Yeah. Where the lumpias at?
Well, Dennis. Dennis, you have a pick of the week?
Yeah, dude, that's a promise, my boy. I'll keep you to that.
Hey, I'll bring it. You know, Latinos and Filipinos are just distant cousins, right? You know that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly,
Exactly. That's
We're all kind
exactly
of related
same.
a little bit.
Right, Bandolillo.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Dennis, do you have a pick of the week?
Yeah.
So it's Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza. Yeah.
Shows Cortez.
We're all Filipinos, bro. Just let's
Yeah.
just
Different islands, man.
Different, yeah.
Spain got all of
Different
us, man.
continent.
Seriously.
Spanish, man. They were
Seriously.
everywhere.
Yep.
Rice is rice. That's what Joe Coy said, right?
Right. Right.
We like ours white. Some are yellow, orange.
He's just gonna go do a Joe Coy set right now.
I
Go for it.
know,
Go do a Joe
seriously.
Coy set, bro.
What do you got, Dennis?
Dennis, do you have a pick of the week?
What I got, you know what? YouTube Shorts, Instagram Stories. Don't skip the ads. Ads are important. Those are the guys that are doing it currently in the industry. You can learn a lot from ads. They're 3-5 seconds. Don't skip them. Watch them.
Yeah,
All right.
That's unique.
There you go. Okay.
You know what? Ads. Going off of ads, Duolingo, that app.
Oh yeah.
They got me. I got an email saying, "Oh, looks like you just logged in. Thank you for coming back." And I was like, "I didn't sign into Duolingo." So then I didn't click on the link. So I went to my app. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, I had to reload it back in. Started it. It intros with now introducing the new Duolingo, UX design. It's this whole cartoon, really nice. And I was like, that's how they got me in.
Got you,
and then
dude.
right after I checked that, I got another email saying, welcome back, Roman. Thank you for checking out Duolingo. And I was like, oh, you guys sent that email first to get me to think like I didn't log in. And they logged in.
There it is.
And they got
Sneaky,
me.
man.
Yeah. So that's my pick of the week,
That's your
Duolingo.
pick of the week. There you go. Duolingo.
Go learn some Spanish.
Learn the language, y'all.
Yeah, then I did my brush up. I went back on,
What language are you learning?
I was learning Spanish.
Oh, hey.
Tagalog.
Hey.
Tagalog, dude.
There it is, guys.
Who's learning Spanish? Sabrina?
Yeah, I had to do a quick brush up course. It says, let's see where you're at. They put me back at the beginner stage again.
Donde está?
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this very first event. We're sorry. I know we had some technical difficulties. We'll be getting better. We promise you. We'll have other events where we'll just be a lot better. But we are so happy that you guys have joined us. Joe, anything else you want to let them know before we go?
Yes. So this was just the Meet the Mentors event. We didn't really talk work. We didn't really show the amazing process these guys have. We showed a little bit of teasers. We have a big event coming up in Downey at the State Gallery on, it's going to be August 19th. We're still setting it up. The details are still coming, and you just follow us. We're going to let you guys know. There's going to be very limited tickets, maybe 40 tickets. Maybe these guys will join us again there, and we're still figuring out what the theme's going to be.
I know.
We're still working on that, but stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be live and have a screen demoing and also talking about the process of being creative and having raffles and giveaways there. And it's going to be really cool. And it's a really cool gallery in downtown Downey, which is really cool area near Portos. If you guys ever been to Portos in Downey, it's right down the street. So shout out to Portos. Shout out to Mikhail Design. My company, we sponsored this as well. Also, there's the t-shirt company. Shout out to Randy and his company for doing all the amazing. And we're going to have swag there too at the Stay Gallery. We're going to be selling some shirts and stuff. So if you want to support, help donate. Also as well, donate on on Venmo, the Artisan Social Club. This is a nonprofit that we're doing. This is for you guys to learn and just, you know, like we really want to be there for you guys. So the more help we get, the more we can help you guys. And let's make this full circle and give kids the opportunity they didn't have.
Yeah. And thank you so much.
Sorry. One last thing.
What's
Sorry. Thank you for reminding me.
Go for it.
Shout out to Sabrina. New York Toy Fair. So Carlos did an amazing job of setting this up at New York Toy Fair. We're going to have a huge booth at New York Toy Fair with a lot of cool stuff there, live demos. And I know not everybody gets to go to New York Toy Fair, but it's going to be amazing. And we're going to be filming live from there too. And maybe do some live streams from there. So shout out to there if you're able to make it out. If you're in the toy industry, you really want to get into the toy industry, that's the place to be. That's where all the big toy companies are going to be. So, and also, yeah, we'll be selling merchandise there too. And shout out to Randy for the t-shirts again.
I know. Check out their t-shirts,
right.
guys.
Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I thank you to the Artisan Social Club for having us here. We hope we did okay for you guys. I hope we enjoyed.
Let me tell you guys about a really bad interview we had. So this whole session, obviously we failed it because he was like, we might have you guys back. So I was like,
No.
I was kidding.
I know. Just Roman's over there going, hey, you guys are out.
Be subtle.
I know. I see. Very, very subtle. Very subtle.
From my back here, dude.
Good. But thank you guys so much for having us. We had a lot of fun, really getting to meet all the guys. I'm hoping that we can be friends with all of you guys too, and just be able to see you guys in person one of these days. And we'll be hopefully again be at the next event. And it's just gonna be. The Artisan Social Club guys are really doing, like Joe said, this for you guys to be able to get you guys connected, get you guys with other industry people to really work together. When you guys are looking on the stream, on the description below, you'll see a link for a survey. Go ahead and click the survey. Disregard the technical difficulties, but everything else, go out there and let us know what you guys think. Maybe there's answer those questions for us. It'd be really helpful for the Artisan Social Club to continue doing these things and being able to bring these things to you guys. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for having us again. And thank you to all the mentors that were here today. We appreciate it. Joe and Carlos, on behalf of the Artisan Social Club, have a great evening. We'll see you guys soon again.
Go watch Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles!
Cowabunga!
That's right.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga. We're on to Cowabunga.